What's up, everyone? Ben with the BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Before we jump in, couple quick things. Obviously, do check out my website, btcsessions.ca. This is where you can reach out to me personally and book your own BTC session, whether that be for just basic wallet setup and figuring out how to use Bitcoin in the first place, how to properly secure it with a hardware wallet, or privacy enhancing features like Wasabi Wallet, how to actually use CoinJoin, and plenty of other things, or even just basic knowledge on Bitcoin and how it works. All you need to do here is scroll to the bottom and there's a contact form for you there. Secondly, big shout out to sponsors of the show, Ledn.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin as collateral to get a Canadian or US dollar loan. It's super easy. All you need to do, there's a little slider here if you want to just check out how much Bitcoin would be required to be deposited to get a specific dollar amount. The application takes a couple minutes, no credit check required. And if you're approved, well, you're typically funded into your bank account within 24 hours. So in an instance where you need to get your hands on dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin to do so because perhaps you're worried that the price may be going up while you sell it, well, this could be an option for you. If you check out the link that I provided down below and you do get a loan, you'll get an extra $50 of Bitcoin allocated to your account. And with that, let's dive into the news. And so we're just going to kind of touch on a couple things that have been happening with Bitcoin price. Of course, we had that major run up on Sunday where we came this close to 9K and we've since pulled back a bit. In fact, maybe I'll pull up current prices just so we're in the know as we talk about this. So Bitcoin right now, there we go, is sitting around kind of the 8650 range, but it has been dropping. It was up in the 88 range, 8800, 8700s. So it is down a little bit from the high of around 8940, 8930, depending on what exchange you were looking at. However, a lot of technical indicators seem to be leaning towards the fact that we are definitely in a bull market now. And I know a lot of you are going, well, no shit. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, there are certain things that need to be ticked off the list before you can say, yeah, we're pretty sure we're into a bull market, because, I mean, everybody thought that the bull market was going to keep going when we had a massive drop from December of 2017 in early January, and then it came right back up to, I think it was about 16K, and everybody thought, yeah, we're good to go. We weren't. So the one thing in this particular article here is that we've had 4 closes above the 50-week moving average. And so yesterday's close marks 4 consecutive weekly closes above the 50-week moving average, and 4 weekly closes above this 50-week MA has never failed to initiate a bull run. There's also another indicator. Now, I'm not super familiar with something called the 3-day super guppy. This sounds kind of ridiculous to me, but hey, give them the benefit of the doubt. So this turning green, essentially the last time that it did this, it led to a 25-month uptrend. I wouldn't mind one of those. Anyways, there's a couple other things here too. Now we've seen the price, as I said, pull back from that near 9,000 touch. So there's a couple people saying that we do need a bit of a pullback. We've seen this kind of parabolic run in the short term, and a lot of times when you see that top off, you'll see around a 30% retrace, which could take us back to the 6K range, something like that. Not that it would be long-lived, but just keep... As a way to kind of keep yourself sane, it's always good to look at the bearish sentiment. So if the worst case scenario happens, you're not as panicky. And I found that to be very helpful in Bitcoin in particular, because if anything we've learned, it is volatile as hell. And it's always nice to just have have a worrisome number just in the back of your brain so that if it starts trending towards that, you're like, okay, well, maybe that might happen. And I find it prevents you from doing rash things, from panic selling or panic buying or, anything like that. Having those numbers in your head can help. So yeah, here we see kind of the triangle where we broke out on Sunday from the low, basically around 8,000, and saw that spike, and we've kind of petered out since then. But yeah, there's a number of indicators that seem to be looking a tad overbought or overextended, and it seems to be suggesting that we could see, and as I said, we're already down kind of 8650. It's saying that some of the key levels to look for are around 8550, 8300. That's possible. Yeah, and that's just short term. Now, this article here is talking about that we could be, given this indicator, which is a giant falling wedge, that we could be headed to kind of that 12K range in not necessarily the near term, but midterm. And why? Because it looks like some of the resistance levels that we've been bouncing off are some of the ones that were laid out during this giant falling wedge here. So you can see the A, B, C, D. All of those can provide areas of resistance and support. And so the person that did this chart in particular is looking to these indicators. So the next one would be up around the close to 10K. So the 99.50 range could be some resistance for us there, and barring that, then it gets up into the between 11 and 12K range. Now, do I think we're going to pop up there right away? I don't know. I don't like to be overly hopeful. Definitely would be nice. I don't see the 9K range, sub 10, being out of the question in the near term. But hey, you always got to take into account we could have that 30% kind of correction before doing that, but who knows? I think that 10K, definitely just that number in people's minds, it can be difficult to get past that, and some people might have that as a magic number of, hey, if it ever gets to 10K again, I'm just going to sell there. So it is a big psychological level, but hey, it's a good thing I don't trade, because none of this really phases me. I just like to have numbers in my head so that I just go through life a little bit more relaxed, oddly enough, looking at that. Now, in relation to all of this, the interesting thing here is that the Bitcoin searches on Google are nowhere near the highs that they were in 2017 near the peak, which seems to denote that there's not a lot of FOMO right now. There's not a lot of people freaking out and piling in. It seems to be people that already in general know about Bitcoin and have just started to accumulate more. So, you can see the massive spike here at the end of 2017 and how it just kind of got decimated within a few months of 2018. Yeah, here we are. Here's that recent little spike. So there is more interest, but in comparison to the FOMO that we were experiencing back a couple of years ago, it's really nothing. So that does give me a little bit of hope that more people are being relatively level-headed, and that these spikes are a little bit more sustainable because it's just not everybody and their grandmother frigging jumping in. If we see something like this again in that much of a quick rise in Google searches, that's when I would start to worry a little bit and go, okay, we're probably in for a bear market again. But I don't think we're going to see something like this right away again. I'm not saying we won't get up to these kinds of search levels again, but I think it'll be more of kind of a gradual rise to get back to that level, and then another spike to levels that we've never seen before when FOMO really, really sets in. And that's when you'll know, well, maybe there might be a turnaround now for an extended period of time. So yeah, with that, it should be interesting to see what the rest of this year looks like. Again, I made a video on what I thought was going to happen with price, and I was pretty damn spot on when it came to the drop. When everybody was saying, oh yeah, 2018 is going to be great and we're going to end the year at 20K, 50K, and we're going to get another run, I was saying, no, we're going to go down to probably 3K. I wouldn't be surprised. And sure as hell we did. But the rise back up, I have vastly underestimated. And I'm okay with that. I'm quite happy with that. As I said in another video, I like to think of it as I under-promised and over-delivered. So hooray for that. A couple other quick stories here. One of them is that I found this article interesting. Now, I mean, there's a lot of countries that do dumb shit when it comes to regulation with Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Well, a new banking law drafted for the Central Bank of Egypt would make it mandatory to obtain licenses in advance of creating, advertising, or operating platforms for issuing or trading cryptocurrencies. So not so much that they're trying to get a handle on not so much the creation, that I do have a problem with, but the platforms for advertising and issuing or trading cryptocurrencies. I don't think that's a bad thing because, when you have an online exchange, you want to be relatively certain that your money isn't going to disappear, and they've got good security practices. And even if it's non-custodial, you still want to make sure that people behind the scenes kind of have their shit together. What I find interesting here is, one, the creation of cryptocurrencies. As much as I am a Bitcoin maximalist, I also think that people should be able to make whatever the hell they want. And as a matter of fact, I think they just will. It doesn't matter what kind of local laws you have. This is a global phenomenon, and if somebody wants to spin up, a fork of some coin or create an entirely new cryptocurrency from scratch, they can and they will, and there's no real way to stop it from propagating around the globe. And that's kind of the appeal of the space. I just happen to think that Bitcoin has the best use case and the best chance of succeeding as far as it comes to a global store of value and eventually a global money through these secondary and tertiary layers. But the other main thing that I found interesting about this is that the banking law being drafted is by the Central Bank of Egypt. So you have the incumbents, central banks, drafting the laws that will dictate this new form of money creation and how it is used and who gets to use it and who gets to partake. And that's just not going to fly. Like, if somebody in Egypt wants to create a cryptocurrency, then they will. They'll just do it anonymously and they'll drop it online somewhere. Or they'll move, or somebody from another country will create it if somebody in Egypt feels that they can't. It's really not their choice at this point, and it's kind of too late to put that genie back in the bottle. I've been watching too many trailers for Ledn. Anyways, I'm going to leave this one there. I didn't want to dive too deep into it. I just found it interesting that their central bank is saying, yeah, we're going to dictate how cryptos are created. You're not. Okay. Remember this? Hopefully not, because who cares? But Kin. Kin is a token created by the Kik Messenger. So Kik Messenger is just a instant messenger that you can get on your phone. And they decided to have an ICO. Surprise, surprise. And that ICO was for a token called Kin. And what could Kin do? Well, essentially, it's just tipping in a messenger. Not anything really unique or innovative or whatever. They just wanted to create a currency that would go in their messenger specifically, so that they had money. And the question that comes to mind is, why not use Bitcoin? Or if you really have a problem with how fees or things are structured, then why not use any of the other thousands of cryptocurrencies that always exist? And the answer that I typically come down to is because money. But anyways, so they're in a battle with the SEC because the SEC said, hey, basically you're issuing an illegal security because people had expectations on the performance of this asset based on the actions of the company that issued it, which, yeah, I mean, if that's the definition of a security, then it's reasonable to think that people buying the KIN token associated the value of that token with the actions of the company issuing it. AKA, if Kick Messenger was successful, then people expect the KIN token to go up in value. But in reality, that's not the case. Kick Messenger could be a multi-billion-dollar company and nobody decides to use the KIN token, and, well, that there would be no correlation there. All of a sudden, the KIN token is useless and Kick Messenger is still thriving as a company. And not only that, but then Kick Messenger, the company, has no obligation to give anything to any holders of the KIN token. It's just a useless token sitting there and has no correlation with the rest of their business. So, yeah, that's the main issue here. Well, you know what they're doing? Well, they already raised a shitload of money via their ICO. Well, now they're having to battle the SEC in court, and they're asking people to give them money to fight their battle in court for them. So this is the message that they've left on this. Please don't donate to this. Please do not donate to this. Defend crypto. The SEC has been shaping the future of crypto behind the scenes with settlements that set a dangerous precedent and stifle innovation. I'm curious what innovation they mean, because surely they don't mean the fact that they made a coin so you could tip, as could never be done with any other cryptocurrency. KIN is unwilling to let that happen and is setting aside $5 million with Coinbase to take them into court. To take them on in court. But with the future of crypto on the line, $5 million might not be enough. That's why we're calling on others to contribute to the Defend Crypto Fund. Want to contribute? Choose a cryptocurrency from the list below. Copy the Coinbase address displayed, send crypto to that address, and see your contribution reflected in the table below. Ooh. This is off. I'm so upset that people have given any money to this. You created an ICO, raised a shit ton of money, and turns out you weren't allowed to do that, and you swindled people out of money for a useless token, and now you're asking for more money to front the bill for your legal fees. The funniest thing is that people bought KIN for Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever the hell they invested with. Anyways, they took their other cryptocurrency, bought into the ICO to get KIN, and are now giving that KIN back to Kick Messenger for the legal fees. What are you people doing with your money? Oh my God. Hey, they got $1 worth of Golem. Anyways, God, don't waste your money on this, please. And I should clarify, I'm not against the idea of ICOs, and I in general, I'm not against the idea of, I shouldn't say ICOs, because ICOs are bullshit, because the coin has zero representation of what the company is doing. I'm not against the idea of removing some regulation when it comes to being able to invest into an idea, a project, a stock, anything like that. It's the way in which these people are raising money for nothing. I think that the model of being able to crowdsource and crowdfund an idea and let people decide what they want to invest in is a great one. I just happen to think that, like, hey, these guys are not worth your money. But with that said, I'll leave it there. I'll let you guys decide. What do you think of KIN? comment down below. I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a blast. I will see you guys tomorrow. Now, if you want to help out the show, of course, hit up my website, hit up the sponsor Ledn. There's a link for that down below as well if you're looking for a loan. And outside of that, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, because if you're new here, I'm in the chat every time this airs for the first time, so be sure to hit that up. And if you really like what you saw, you can drop me a Bitcoin tip via my tippin.me page and the Lightning Network, and I will link a video to how to do that if you're unfamiliar. And with that, I'm out. Have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for your daily session.